Here's more wrestling news for April 17th, 2023, and we're kicking off with WWE. And during the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble match, Nia Jax made her return to the company, and at the time, fans felt she'd be back for good. WWE even went as far as to release a new shirt for the former Raw Women's Champion, seemingly confirming her return, but in the end, her appearance was just for one night. Since then, Jax has steered clear of a WWE ring or any wrestling ring, but during Ring the Bell, the Irresistible Force remained open to a return. She said, "Maybe, I'm the last person to know. Honestly, how many times have they told me right before something happens? Rumble 2019, Survivor Series 2018, even coming back for the Rumble. I'm the last person to know. I couldn't tell you, give us the tea, I don't know. They're going to tell me last minute. That's probably what may or may not happen. Who knows?" Other than the Rumble, Jax hasn't wrestled since her release from WWE, though was at one time linked to the promotion launched by the AOP that didn't make it to its first show. Jax had an interesting time with WWE and said after her release that she was cut for asking for time off due to her mental health. And do you want to see Jax back, or is WWE better off without her? New Japan news now is last Saturday, Fred Rosser and Juice Robinson were scheduled to face off at Capital Collision, but that match never had the chance to officially start. In the weeks prior to the match, Rosser had done everything to get under Robinson's skin, including saying he wanted Juice's wife, Toni Storm, to see her husband be destroyed up close, and even booked a front row seat in her name. As Rosser emerged from the curtain to make his entrance, Robinson followed closely behind, stunning his opponent with a vicious attack, which included a piledriver on the stage. Not finished, Robinson used his belt to whip Rosser and moved the action into the ring, and the referee couldn't prevent Juice from continuing his attack with a series of chair shots. The final blow came when Robinson hit Rosser with a roll of quarters and warned him, "You keep my wife's name out of your mouth," a line we all know from the Will Smith, Chris Rock Oscars controversy. Robinson's attack resulted in the match being a no contest, and he has since been suspended from New Japan, with Rosser replacing him in the US Title Contenders Tournament. While Rosser took Robinson's spot, he ultimately came up short against Archer, and we can only imagine that things will get uglier from here between Robinson and Rosser in this deeply personal feud. Now, since turning heel last September, Dominik Mysterio has proven himself to be one of the most loathsome villains on the roster and often gets the loudest boos of the night. Dominik has come a long way from being the somewhat shy son of Rey Mysterio, and he's now made his views on the fans very clear. Ahead of Saturday night's WWE live event in Rio Rancho, Mexico, fans booed and heckled Dominik Mysterio while he was making his way to the arena, and Dom responded by flipping off the fans. Dominik's heel work was recently compared to AEW World Champion MJF, with Conan saying the Judgment Day star is better, and like MJF, Mysterio is fully committed to being a villain. While Rey Mysterio was able to defeat his son at WrestleMania, the feud between these two is not over yet, and expect the former prison convict to get even more despicable in the coming months. As any wrestler will tell you, there's always a risk when you step into the ring, and fans at the recent Impact Rebellion show learned that lesson firsthand this past weekend. It was last night that Impact held their latest pay-per-view from Toronto, so it was fitting that Canadian legend PCO was on the card and faced Eddie Edwards in a last rites match. Fans were left horrified when PCO tried to put Edwards into the coffin, but was smashed into the ring ropes instead, which resulted in PCO suffering a dislocated shoulder. Undeterred, PCO slammed his shoulder back into place and was able to finish the match, which saw PCO get the win over Edwards. PCO has proven his toughness time and time again, but that didn't make what happened at Rebellion any less shocking, and it goes to show that there's always a risk when you step into the ring. Rebellion also saw an appearance by Tommy Dreamer, and the ECW legend has opened up about what he considers the worst week of his life. In an interview, Dreamer disclosed that his mother recently suffered a serious stroke, and when she opened her eyes and he told her that he loved her, she was still unresponsive. Dreamer also said that he was wrestling in Impact Wrestling Rebellion despite the fact the promotion had allowed him time off, but that he will be going away after Rebellion to be with his family. In a report from PW Insider, it was confirmed that Dreamer's interview was 100% true, and that his mother was actually scheduled to come home from a medical facility this week before the stroke. Dreamer was able to get the win for his team in the 10-man hardcore war match against Team Bully Ray, but now his focus is on his family, and we wish him and his family all the best. Since returning to WWE, Cody Rhodes has been the top babyface, and he recently caught the eye of Hollywood during WrestleMania weekend. It has been reported that Cody has caught the attention of the names behind the upcoming Mortal Kombat sequel and rumored Legend of Zelda film, but how will this affect his WWE schedule? As we've all seen, wrestlers who make their names in Hollywood end up competing less for WWE, just ask John Cena, but that won't be the case with Rhodes. In a new report, Fightful Select report that Cody will not be taking a part-time role in WWE, and any project he takes on will allow him to keep his current WWE schedule. Cody Rhodes could have doors open for him in Hollywood, but he doesn't plan on hanging up his boots anytime soon, as he plans on finishing the story first. It's ironic that Cody plans to get into acting, as it was after failing to become an actor in his late teens and early 20s that he entered the world of wrestling, and we may soon see the American Nightmare shine on the silver screen. This past weekend, fans of boxing and entertainment saw the Creator Clash 2 event where influencers settled the score in the ring. No current WWE superstars competed at the event, but one of the company's current stars could be making his boxing debut in due time. Actor and boxer dad Nathan Barnatt won his fight against AB Starkiller, and after the bout, called out Seth Rollins and the entire WWE for a throwdown. He said, "I would like to call out the entire company of the WWE. If you know me and you've been watching me for 20 years on YouTube, then you'll know the WWE sent me a signed contract twice. I still have that contract signed. Triple H knows me, Vince McMahon knows me, half the roster knows me, they've been dancing around me for 10 years, and I'm not waiting anymore." So Seth Rollins, if you want to go toe-to-toe with a phony YouTuber, a con artist, how about you go toe-to-toe with a boxer, a YouTuber from the original days who actually wins his fights? I'll be waiting for you at the front doors of your training facility until you answer. At this time, Rollins hasn't responded to the challenge, but if he accepts, then it'll mark the second YouTuber he's faced after defeating Logan Paul at WrestleMania. Recently, Rollins spoke about his future and hopes to main event WrestleMania 40 against Roman Reigns, but if that happens, Seth's path to Philadelphia could see him face another YouTuber along the way. In 2019, Marko Stunt signed with AEW, where he'd remain until 2022, and recently the former Jurassic Express member opened up about his mental health. In a tweet, Stunt said that a year ago he contemplated taking his own life, but that he feels great now and spoke about trying to stay positive. It's great that Stunt was able to overcome this difficult experience in his life, and he's now back on his feet, and it's important to try and remain positive even during the most difficult of times. If the reports are to be believed, CM Punk's return to AEW will happen within a matter of months, and he will be the biggest name on the rumored AEW Saturday wrestling show. While Punk is seemingly on his way back, the former world champion is hardly a popular person in AEW, especially after his scathing Instagram post against Chris Jericho, Jon Moxley, and the company. In that post, Punk called Jericho a liar and a stooge, while Jericho reportedly called Punk a cancer after All Out, and now Y2J has shared a post of his own that has had fans talking. On Instagram, Y2J shared a photo of himself and asked in the comments, "You wanna around?" and interestingly set the location of the post to Punk's hometown of Chicago, Illinois. It didn't take long for fans to realize the link, and many questioned whether Jericho is firing back for Punk's earlier comments, or is this just part of a work setting up a future match. Jericho was said to be part of a backstage team fighting to prevent Punk's return to AEW, but with that now happening, it could be a matter of time before the two share a ring. But what do you think? Is Jericho's post the latest shot in a bitter personal feud between the two? Or is the former world champion just working? Sound off in the comments below. And we're ending today with Shinsuke Nakamura, who made his return on WWE SmackDown last week and picked up a dominant win over Madcap Moss. After his return, Nakamura spoke about wanting to become a world champion on WWE's main roster, but Dutch Mantel had a much different vision for the King of Strong Style. Speaking on WrestleBinge, Mantel suggested that Nakamura has reached his shelf life and added, "I think every talent has a shelf life. They have a date stamped on. Shinsuke Nakamura has been there for 7 years, and after a while, he just fades into the woodwork. I think after 5 years, unless they are main event level stars, you need to let them go. 2 years, let them come back or something. I think they get stale, and if you don't really handle them right, you do more damage than they can help you. It has been teased that Nakamura will be feuding with Karrion Kross, another superstar whose main roster run has been World Championship free. But what do you make to Mantell's comments? Should Nakamura be let go after spending so much time on the main roster? Sound off in the comments.